Hello, this reading is for our lovely Cancerians for the month of January 2017. I've asked Spirit to give guidance on whatever is bothering you in life, whatever you need guidance in life. And, this includes love, relationships, career, family, home, whatever. So, looking at the spread here, we've got cups right at the center of the reading. Cups as in to help other people see you. And that's really only two cups that we have here. Oh, we've also got Page of Cups as to how you are responding, or how you're consciously kind of trying to affect the situation. So it looks like you're possibly in a position at the moment where you feel like you could be starting a new love journey of sorts. Maybe feeling a bit like a fish out of water, as the cup would suggest. You could have your eyes on someone. You could be in love. It could be a very pure, very new kind of crush-like love that you have on somebody. Maybe you're not accepting that offer, or maybe they're not accepting your advances, because we do have the Four of Cups crossing the Page of Swords. So it looks like either you have possibly had a discussion or shared your feelings with someone, and they possibly haven't returned the same feelings that you were expecting or hoping or wanting or counting on, which seems to have caused a conflict of the egos, with the Five of Pentacles being the overall energy for the month. So that's the first story that's being picked up here, I can see. The Hermit card is right at the base of the reading, which is grounding the reading in a sense. And it looks like you are now, maybe because of this dissatisfaction with your current love situation, whether it be not satisfied with the offers being given to you, or not getting the reception that you wanted to when you offered your love, possibly has led you to look within now to find out maybe what really love is all about, to find out really what love means to you, really what is it that you want. But with the with the Hanged Man card being as to how you see yourself or how you see the situation, it could be that you're having to look within to possibly gain a new perspective on the situation. So it looks like, and especially with the Ace of Swords being the outcome, it looks like you've either made a decision in love, you've learned something recently, learned a lesson in love that has possibly changed the way you look at love, changed the way that you see yourself in relationships, and possibly changed your approach in terms of what you think is really important in relationships. As an outcome, in terms of what's in the future, for the Nine of Pentacles, so you may be looking towards making yourself more independently secure, not maybe wanting to, or maybe you could realize that actually to have a successful relationship, you yourself need to be quite whole, yourself emotionally, mentally, and even health wise. Sometimes we need to look after ourselves 100% before we can offer anything to anybody else. So you may be realizing that that could be your new awareness, and that has possibly changed the way that you approach love now. Or it could mean that you're being forced to, in a sense, by looking within, being forced to just be more independent, because the Hermit card here also talks about independence, knowing your own mind, knowing what your what your what in your heart of hearts really means anything to you, like what really in the bigger scheme of things, you know, taking everything out, everything unneeded out of the equation, what really matters and what really makes you happy, and is it really in line with your personal goals and future outlook, you know, really kind of getting aligned with what really matters to you and getting aligned with who you really are. We've got the with the 5 of Wands being the overall energy, it looks like possibly that, you know, if something was turned down or you turned someone down, it's caused maybe you guys to be a bit defensive towards each other. You know, it's always a little bit of a ego bruise, you know, bruise of the ego when, you know, our feelings aren't reciprocated, and that can cause people to be quite defensive, or just defensive. So like little things you say could be taken to heart, and cause an argument, because that person's ego is bruised. So there might be a lot of kind of tiptoeing around each other this month if you are in a couple, just to be sure that you don't kind of step on each other's toes, or you don't kind of start an argument out of nothing. You know, 'cause often that's what the 5 of Wands represents, an argument that's caused really out of nothing and ends in pretty much nothing as well, apart from bruised egos. So yeah, that's, I think, the energy that you need to maybe look out for this month. That may be a challenge for you. Maybe in you seeking your independence, that could be seen as a threat to your partner, possibly. Maybe your new perspective on life, your new perspective on relationships has maybe caused your partner to feel a little bit insecure, quite possibly. And therefore you're kind of walking on eggshells around each other. In your position as to how people see you, we've got the 2 of Cups, which is interesting. So, you know, it looks like somebody truly, you know, if this is a relationship reading and this is your main concern, it looks like the person that you're thinking of either sees you very much as being in love with them, or they are very much in love with you. And this isn't the kind of I'm in love with you or I really care about you, but I'm not going to say anything. This is quite an open, you know, this is obvious even without you guys having to say it. So someone truly feels connected to you. I do believe this is about external factors. So it looks like someone has offered their love to you, and someone, you know, sees you as someone they can truly have a positive, really fruitful connection with. So someone looks at you with, you know, rose tinted glasses on at the moment, and they really care about you and really feel connected to you more so. Also got the yin and yang cards here, for the spiritual advice, from the Wisdom of the Oracles deck, which is interesting. It talks a lot about, you know, the yin and yang that is very much in support of the 2 of Cups. We've got the milk and honey card as well, which shows that definitely focus needs to be given this month to the give and take, possibly in relationships, or allowing one person to speak while the other one listens, you know, respecting each other's kind of point of view, knowing when to talk and knowing when to listen, knowing when to act and knowing when to pull back a little bit and wait for the next person to act. And that very much again ties in with the 5 of Wands energy, rather than knee-jerk acting and getting into arguments, really taking the time to think, is it the right time to act now or not? And through doing that, you find that balance. It's interesting as well, the Yang card is number 1, the Yin card is 2, together they make 3. The Milk and Honey card on its own is a 6, showing that, with the combination of the yin and yang, you will bring harmony, with 6 being well, 3 being a multiple of 6. It does show that connection there. They've got the same kind of quite supportive messages are being shown to us through those 3 cards. So I would say that there's a lot that can be gained. Real connection and happiness can be gained between you and your partner, or you and this person maybe you're not interested in. Just knowing about timing and saying the right things can bring a lot of peace and happiness. In your hopes and fears, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So it could be that you're hoping that this Knight of Pentacles character does that you do get with them, that you do find security with them. It could also mean that you hope or you're fearing that things are taking too long, because the Knight of Pentacles does talk about slow progression. But it's also a thinking card and a strategy card. So maybe you're hoping that, this new way of thinking that you have kind of become aware of or started to implement in your life, maybe you're hoping that it will actually, take root and really, really change the way that your relationship progresses going forward. That it really makes a difference. But you're thinking more long term, and I think you're hoping maybe that there is a long term relationship that will come out of the situation that you're in at the moment. But it looks like you could be fearing that it's just taking too long to develop, and that what could be causing you to be quite independent. If things are taking a long time to develop, you kind of, naturally you're going to just focus on other things. If you can't speak to your partner, or for some reason things are just not moving along at the pace that you want, you may just start to focus on other things in your life to keep your mind off it, possibly. Could be a lot of waiting, which is causing you possibly to rethink relationships and to rethink, how relationships are supposed to go. But I think ultimately, that where there is pure love, that's what matters, because that's your approach. And I think you're even aware that by showering love on the situation, by approaching the situation with love, with that, back and forth respect of each other's boundaries, or, wants and needs, that probably will quell a lot of any potential arguments. With the Ace of Swords as the outcome, it looks like there will be a victory. It's a victory card. It looks like this new way of thinking will take root. You will, with the Hanged Man here, it looks like you will be gaining that new perspective on things. Definitely, I think I said that quite a few times throughout the reading. There will be like a new way of looking at things in your relationships. And it will be a victory, so it will lead to a positive new beginning in some way in your relationship. You guys may just do things differently now. where you are maybe on the same page more mentally. You're maybe more mature in the way that you deal with each other, and maybe just more intelligent in the way you communicate. Like emotional intelligence comes to mind, would be the outcome of of the month. In your past, I will just mention that you've got the King of Rods here. Maybe in the past, it could be that this is the energy or a person. It could be that you're leaving someone that was a fire sign, fairly important, influential character. Or it could just mean as well to me that with the King of Rods, he wants what he wants. If he were involved in the Five of Wands argument, yeah, okay, he's mature, he knows how to handle himself, but he's not going to back down really from the argument. He may take his time more in responding, but he will give a response, and he's not going to back down. In fact, he may even like a bit of an argument sometimes, like a bit of drama, likes to get the fire started. So, maybe what you're doing is leaving that energy behind. You're leaving that in 2017. You're leaving that I have to be right all the time kind of energy behind. Although it looks like you were very good at it with the King of Rods. Or maybe you both had kind of come to that point where you've done it so much, this arguing, that you've learned a new way to argue now. You've learned that, the best way to argue now is to handle it with love, listen to each other with the whole give and take, and recognize that you really do love each other. And also understand that there's always a new way to do things. There's always room for improvement in the sense that we don't know everything, and it's always something to be learned. So, to allow relationships to progress. This has been a very relationship focused reading, but the Two of Cups tends to do that to a reading. And the Page of Cups. If this is completely related towards career, it looks like again you're maybe you could have been. There could have been an offer made to you that you weren't satisfied with in some way. You could be unsatisfied with your current job at the moment, and you could be looking now for a brand new start. You feel like you've leveled up in some way. You feel like you've come so far, you've gained a fair amount of experience. You accept, okay, I'm not an expert. I was previously really good at being the boss and the manager with the King of Rods, and trailblazing my way, through maybe the company or projects. But now I feel like you maybe want to start something new. You're not satisfied anymore with what's being offered. Maybe the projects that are being offered at the moment just aren't in line with who you really are, who you really are and what's in your heart. Apparently this month is very important to you. You seem to be going on some sort of soul searching journey when it comes to work, if this is relating to work. And you're trying to find a job, I think, that you really love, that you really can put your heart and soul into. And something that's more in line with maybe your spiritual path as well. Which has maybe left you in a kind of state of waiting. And that also, going back to love, that could also be what the Hangman is about as well. This waiting around, waiting, or you possibly taking your time to respond to an offer in love, but also taking your time out in terms of career, taking the time out to think about what you really want to do and to think about your next move forward, especially with the Knight of Pentacles and your hopes and fears. You're hoping that maybe you have enough time to really think about what you really want, to take time out to really, fully go through the hermit process of being on your own, looking within, seeing what you want, and then kind of looking ahead and kind of projecting that out into your future. Okay, how is that going to look? How can I implement this? And is it really what I want? Does this really make sense? Those kind of questions, trying to gain a clear perspective on what you're really trying to achieve here. But it looks like you it looks like, I mean, with the victory card being the outcome, you will achieve that. You will achieve that clarity. And in your future, you will find that kind of independent success. So it looks like you maybe could be leaving. You could be leaving an old job and doing it, going alone. Maybe to have your own, maybe entrepreneurial ventures pursued. You know, you might go down that route. People see you as, you know, the Two of Cups. So people may see you being very much in love with the idea of this new beginning, and see you very happy and content with that. You may have other people around you who are willing to support you in this and can completely see your vision. People who maybe even want to come on board with you and share this vision with you. That looks really good. But it may be one person in particular, you know, as there's only two people in this card. Keep it that your partner is willing to help you move forward with your new venture. And you've basically got someone there with you that's going to support you in this, which is lovely. There could be some conflicts. I think it's just remembering what you're doing this all for. Again, with the Hermit card, it comes back to just knowing what you're doing this all for. If there are conflicts at work, having to say goodbye, having to turn down offers, and having to explain why you're going in a particular direction, just remember that people's egos may be hurt by that. You know, they might take it personally that you're leaving. They might really love you. I mean, with the Two of Cups there, it looks like people really, really care about you, you know, and they may feel really connected to you. So you leaving or you kind of changing your mind on something could make them feel like a bit insecure and a bit defensive, but don't take it personally yourself. You know, you're the one here with the emotional intelligence. So yeah, just try to keep communication open with the Page of Swords here and the Ace of Swords. You know, try to talk about things as much as you can. Again, back to the spiritual advice from the Wisdom of the Oracles deck. It will be about learning to give and take and just keeping things nice and smooth. You know, milk and honey. It's like keeping things nice and smooth and easy and peaceful. Knowing when to act, knowing when not to act, and going with the flow, you know. I didn't mention by the book card that popped up as well when I took the oracle cards out. By the book is about doing things in the tried and tested way, but also doing things by your book. You know, playing fair. And working together with others as well, this card represents. So do the right thing, by the book would suggest. If it is, if you do have to kind of give some not so positive news or feedback to somebody with regards to an offer. If this is you receiving the negative news, and you having to go out alone and, you know, being put in a position where you have to now rethink your options and what really matters. Again, by the book, I think it's talking about the Hermit card, what really matters to you, what's in your book, you know, what makes you feel whole. I think it also, to me as well, is an 11 card. Relates a little bit to the Justice card in the normal tarot decks, where it does talk about you having to adjust, you know, your needs and wants to what is externally available to you or influencing the situation, and finding that balance, and then from that balance finding where, you know, your truth lies, like what, you know, where, how you kind of comfortably fit into that situation. So it's about holding your own truth, balancing your own inner truth with the outer reality, and adjusting yourself to make the most of what's been offered to you. So it's a bit long-winded, but Yeah, sometimes it's hard to find the words to explain cards, but yeah, definitely. Again, I think it's talking to the Hermit card, asking you to really, as you are making these adjustments, to with the outside world and you internally, just make sure that you know what you want. Yeah. And you're happy with the choices that you make. Although it looks like with the Victory card here, you will be happy with it. Two of Cups, you will be supported. Although some feelings may be hurt, so just take your time a bit. Hope that reading was helpful. That was really interesting reading for me. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate